Today on Larry King Now, NCIS's Pauley Perrette.
I'm just so grateful still. I'm grateful. I thank God for this job every single day.
On the popularity of NCIS.
They said in a meeting the other day that we think that at any given moment, there's 59 million people in the world watching NCIS. That's what people tune in for, I think, is this little team, this little family. You know, you were like, what are those crazy kids up to today?
On her passion for civil rights.
I've just been a part of this equality campaign for so long. And the last few years, we've made remarkable strides at such a fast pace.
Plus, biggest fear.
I'm terrified of magicians.
Why magicians?
Well, they're irrational fears, Larry, so I don't have to rationalize them.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Pauley Perrette. I love saying that, Pauley Perrette. She's a poet, spoken word artist, civil rights activist, musician, writer, documentary producer, and actor. She is the owner of Donna Bell's Bake Shop in New York. And for 12 seasons, she has portrayed forensic scientist Abby Sciuto on the world's most watched drama, NCIS, airing Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. on CBS. Also Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, also during the day on cable channels. It is everywhere. It is, in fact, the #1 drama in the world.
In the world, yes.
How do you explain this to yourself, this show? You've been with it from the start.
I have been. Me and Mark Harmon and Michael Weatherly and David McCallum, the four of us have actually been playing these characters for 13 years because we started on another show. But, you know, people often ask me, they're like, are you shocked by how successful it is? And especially now, this kind of worldwide domination. They said in a meeting the other day that when this was announced that we think that at any given moment, there's 59 million people in the world watching NCIS.
Why do you think?
I'm a big TV person. I watch TV like fanatically. I love my TV. And when I first read it, I'm like, this is good. This is really good because it's this perfect blend of like drama and comedy, which is kind of like life, you know.
And science.
And yeah, and lots of science for me. Yeah. So, but I knew then, considering myself an expert on television because I constantly watch television, I was like, this is fantastic.
So you thought it would work?
I absolutely did. Yeah.
Even though the science part, nobody knows what you're talking about.
Well, there's a few people out there that do.
Is the science true?
Yeah, everything, because we're a military show, we have military advisors for absolutely everything we do, from everybody's uniforms to how you hold a gun, procedure, everything. And then with me, everything that I do in the lab, all the science is like checked and double checked. Do
you ever, Paulie, when you're doing something that long, get a little tired of it?
Not this one. I can't wait to go to work still every day. I get so excited to get a new script. I'm like, what's Abby up to now? You know, I just can't wait. It's really, plus we have such a great cast and crew, and we all love our show, and we all love our jobs. And at the beginning of every day, the most important thing to me is just how I'm just so grateful still. I'm grateful. I thank God for this job every single day.
How many new shows a year do you do?
I think 23, 24.
Last month, you were crowned with the leading Q score, and I know what that is, for all females on TV. For those not familiar, it means they recognize you immediately, right?
Yeah.
It tells you they know who you are.
I think it's like your recognizability factor, and then it's just also factored as like how you feel about them, if you have positive feelings.
I always had a high Q. I always felt good about that people know you.
Yeah, and they like you, but this was the best year because it's happened with me before. But this year, my co-star Michael Weatherly was #1 for men, and that's just like I feel like it's right in the family. Two of us on the same show.
How do they keep the scripts fresh after all that time?
I think it's a blend of drama,
different writers all the time.
Comedy, yeah, from the writers, and especially after doing this for so long, having such a keen understanding of not only the characters themselves, but their interactions with each other, because that's what people tune in for, I think, is this little team, this little family. You know, you were like, what are those crazy kids up to today, you know? Like,
but as an actress, don't you want to do other things?
Yes, of course, but I also do not want to ever take myself out of the space that I feel right now, which is just being so grateful every day for this one.
Do you ever get movie offers?
Yeah, I mean, it's very hard with...
Because you're so identifiable, right?
Well, our dramas, our schedules are the hardest. So schedule changes every 8 days, shooting days. We're under contract for that. We have to be available at all times, and we only have a very small window of time off during the summer. So it's mostly a scheduling problem.
Why is it so popular out of the country?
I think for the same reasons. It's funny because we're dubbed in like hundreds of languages all over the place. And I've actually heard myself in German and French. And
it's funny.
Yeah, it's really funny. But I think it's it translates. It completely translates. That kind of like familial bond between these characters and all their hijinks that they get up to is universal.
Now there are 2 spin-offs, NCIS LA, NCIS New Orleans.
Yeah.
Plan any more of those?
I don't know. That's above my pay grade.
New Orleans is already one of the most watched shows.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Do you watch the other ones?
Sure. All I do is watch TV.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You love TV. Do you ever see it ending?
I really can't see it ending anytime soon. And I've thought about, but not too much. If and when that ever happens, it's just going to be devastating to all of us. We've just been together so long. I can't imagine there not being an Abby out there. Like, and everybody says, would you ever leave the show? I'm like, first of all, no, I'm never going to leave the show because it's the greatest job in the world. But second of all, I don't want to be responsible for the disappearance of Abby Sciuto. That would just be like people crush hearts all over the world, they, especially like young girls. It's a big deal for them.
Mark Harmon was here recently. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's probably the best-known face in the world, probably.
Well, yeah, he's got to be one of them. I mean, David McCallum is an absolute legend.
Yeah.
He was a teen star, even.
When we come back, I'll get to taste some treats from Paulie's Bake Shop.
Yay!
When we return, hey, don't go away.
There's treats somewhere.
We're back with the multi-talented Pauley Perrette, one of the stars of NCIS, who also owns a bake shop in New York City. It's not called Pauley Perrette's Bake Shop. It's called Donna Bell's Bake Shop.
Yep.
Tell me about the origin. Who is Donna Bell?
Donna Bell was my mother. I unfortunately lost her to breast cancer. She's very Alabama, born and raised in Alabama. My whole family is very Southern. And then 2 of my best friends, my best friend Darren, who lives in New York, that's where we met, because I was in New York for a long time. We actually met in Hell's Kitchen probably 20 years ago. And he was really like, he's from up north, a Yankee, and he's always fascinated by like everything Southern, and especially about my family, my mom. He's just fascinated by it. So he would come to Alabama with me and baked with my mom and cooked with her, and he's an extreme foodie. So he had approached me a couple of years ago, and he was like, you know what, I'd like to bring back, like, in honor of your mom and the spirit of her mom, and especially the food and the baking of your mom, and do it right in New York City. We started.
Where is it?
Well, we started as a food truck, and then a couple of years ago, we finally were at Worldwide Plaza. We're in 49th Street at 8th Avenue, just a little Donna Bell's Bake Shop, and it's just everything.
And what do you cook there?
Everything Southern, everything you can think of, every kind of goodie from,
all desserts.
No, and we also have savories. So we'll have a little chicken and dumpling some days. We'll have a little bit of macaroni and cheese.
Let's bring in some of this stuff.
It's a Donna Bell's for you. Look at the size of that cookie.
My God.
That's a double fudge, and that's
What
a
is
chocolate
this?
chip. Double fudge. And these are gigantic. Yeah, we go big. We go big with our cookies. That's
Real
what I've
big.
heard. Signature things.
Wow. Is it doing well?
Yeah, with any small business, it takes, a couple of years to get together, but people just have really embraced it, and they really love it. Like, it's a really special place.
Are cookies a big item?
Yeah, everything.
I'm told that you don't eat sugar.
I don't eat sugar, isn't ironic.
So you can't eat this?
No.
Why don't you eat sugar?
I gave up sugar for Lent about 6 years ago, and then the next year, I was like, I'm going to give up sugar for Lent again. I'm sure God was like, nice job, Paul, you did that last year. But then once I gave up sugar for Lent, like 2 years in a row, I was just kind of done with it. It was pretty.
You're doing a cookbook?
We have a Donna Bell's cookbook coming out. A lot of it was at the request of our fans, like, please do a cookbook. But it's an unusual cookbook. It's very exciting. It's not only just recipes, but it's kind of like a quadruple biography of me and Darren and Matthew, my 2 partners in the bakery, and also my mother. And then also just sort of like the history of the bake shop and how this came together. And it's very personal. Some of it was
really good.
I know. There parts of it were very hard to write because I am going back and revisiting, losing my mom and my grandmother both.
How old was your mother?
She was young. She's like 62. Yeah.
Sad.
It was very sad. And I don't know how it is with everybody, but I don't know if you ever, no matter how old you are, when you lose your mom, you feel like an orphan for the rest of your life.
I remember interviewing Senator J. Rockefeller, famous senator, West Virginia, and his mother had just died, and she was 103.
Wow.
So I said, I guess, and he started to cry. And I said, I guess, with 103, is that easy to get over? And he said, your mother is always your mother.
Absolutely.
I never forgot that.
It's so true.
All right, let's switch subjects. I knew someone, you did a documentary of Mark Lane. How did you where is Mark?
Mark Lane is over in Virginia, being Mark Lane. He actually emailed me this morning.
I used to interview him all the time.
I know. I was put that together in it because he's talked about me before. I followed him around with a camera for 8 years. So
he did all sorts of civil rights cases.
He's one of the most famous and important and notorious civil rights
wild guy.
Lawyers in history. But I just got an email from him this morning about something that he had put on Facebook about marriage equality, and he's still just thinking and being Mark. But I always wanted to do this. I'm fascinated with people's stories. Sociology major.
Why isn't he taught in school?
He does lectures.
But he should be talked about.
Hopefully, my documentary is going to change this. That's kind of the point.
Called?
The Mark Lane documentary is called Citizen Lane, and it is about the history of him. I mean, the guy is like a walking history of civil rights in this country. He, starting with, the assassination of JFK and his intense investigation of that, going through every page of the Warren reports.
He didn't buy the Warren.
No, and he's the one that wrote the book Rush to Judgment, which has made people go, wait a minute, and that book is still alive and well.
Does he still believe that?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then he investigated the assassination of Martin Luther King, and then he was at Wounded Knee. He was one of the only people that survived Jonestown. He was there representing the people. I mean,
yeah, he was.
He's just been.
I must have had him on 10 times. I mean, he was a great guest.
He's well, when people ask me about the documentary, which I'm so proud of, it's just really outstanding. I'm still trying to find the correct home for it. But I tell people that have seen it, when they compliment it, I say, you know what, when you have a subject like that, it makes it pretty darn easy.
How old is Mark now?
He writes me in every email, don't forget, I'm closer to 90 than I am to 80.
Yeah, I know. Same-sex couples, thanks to the Supreme Court not making a decision, can now marry in 27 states. Do you think that was a cop-out or a wise move?
It's been so this issue that should be so simple.
They let everything stand, so all the judges who have thrown out those anti-same-sex now
It was a very interesting day that day, and we were all kind of glued, and all of us civil rights activists together, like texting about it. It was like, okay, this is good and weird.
That was the day when they were going to say whether they will hear it or not.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It had never been argued.
Right. Yeah. And then they just said
they didn't grant certiorari.
Yeah. They're not going to do any of it. I've just been a part of this equality campaign for so long, and the last few years, especially since Obama's been in office, has been so fascinating for us. It's like, it's like Martin Luther King said that how long justice can take, but we've made remarkable strides at such a fast pace.
Majority of states.
I think it's 30 now, and we're still, but that still leaves all the rest of those states where people are being discriminated against, and especially like young kids who are feel like they're put in this position by their own government. A state
is not going to be able to pass a law against it because that'll be thrown out.
Right.
Do you think they'll put it to public referendums in states?
I don't know if it's even. I don't want to be too optimistic. I just don't even know if that's going to be necessary at some point, because that's exactly what Mark Lane wrote me the email about this morning, and he said that he thinks that finally, as a country, we're going to be on the correct side of history.
I think it's a given.
Yeah.
We'll get Paulie's take on senior superlatives for the NCIS cast when we come back. We're back with Pauley Perrette, a multi-talented human being, is one of the stars of NCIS, which keeps on keeping on. What is the Abby effect?
The Abby effect is a term that's been used for, it's a very positive, amazing thing. This character that I play on television, obviously I'm not her, I'm grateful to play her. It just put in the forefront a female being this exceptional scientist and an expert at math and an expert at everything, ballistics and chemistry, botany, you name it. And that it just opened up a door for all these young people around the world for young girls to go into math and science. And you know, it just wasn't that long ago in this country where that wasn't an option for girls and for women. It wasn't that long ago when women couldn't vote. We still don't have equal pay.
How do you remember? So the Abbey effect, you influence young people to get into science?
Yeah, I get contacted from all over the world, from young girls themselves, their parents, their grandparents, their teachers. And they've been watching this character since they were like 7 or 8 years old. Now they're going to college. And they're pursuing, pursuing careers in science and math.
You studied sociology, psychology, and criminology.
Yeah.
Why acting?
It was an accident. I didn't study acting. It was a complete, I think that having such a strong sociological background in psychology and criminology, where I spent my time studying human behavior, has been incredibly helpful to me as an actor. Like, probably one of the best backgrounds that you could have to be an actor, but it was an accident. I was just trying to finish my criminology master's degree. I wanted to finish my master's degree in criminology. I didn't have any money. Started bartending in New York. And I got hired from behind the bar by a director that put me in. I was just trying to, I heard that somebody made $3,000 shooting a commercial, and I was like, I really need $3,000. So from that, he hired me for like 15 short films, commercials, music videos in a row, and then one of the commercials that I did, I got a call from LA, and they're like, you come out here. I came out here for a TV show, and like, here I am.
The rest is history.
Yeah.
Are you married?
I'm engaged.
How'd you meet?
He used to be in the restaurant business, and he had a restaurant that was down the street from my house.
You moved a lot, huh? Moved
yeah, oh yeah, when we were young.
You were homecoming queen at high school?
That was my biggest, darkest secret. Yes, I was homecoming queen.
Okay, now we're going to talk about senior superlatives. We'll throw up the characters of NCIS. You tell me.
I'm nervous. I'm afraid I'm going to get it wrong.
Mark Harmon's senior superlative.
I think Mark Harmon's going to have to be principal.
Principal.
He's going to be high school principal.
Yeah. Michael Weatherly.
Class clown.
Class clown.
Yes.
Emily Wickersham.
Most adorable.
Sean Murray.
Oh, most sweet.
David McCallum.
Oh, David, there's so much to that man. I'm going to just say most everything.
Brian Dietzen.
Most, can I say most popular? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So, yeah.
And Rocky Carroll.
They're going to be tied for most popular, those two.
Okay. Now, here's an
example
of a line you have to say in one of the NCISs.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to try to read it.
I'm getting nervous here, Larry.
Tell me how you remember it, okay?
Okay.
This is what Abby says. The prints were made by a residue of polysaccharide dust derived from beta-glucose. What makes it interesting is the backbone of diacylcoronarase linked with the right X-close units, panda poop. Now, how did you, remember that and then pronounce it right?
People ask me...
And is that all correct science?
Yes, it would be. But the answer to the question, how do you remember it all, is I don't know, but I do, and it's my job, and I want to get fired. So that's the main thing. But I spend a lot of time at home studying, same as I did in college. I was a straight-A student in college. It's very important to me to get everything right. So I spend, I tell my friends, I'm like, I can't do anything. I'm grounded. I have to study.
Do you have any idea what that means, what I just said?
Yeah, they found... the end of it is that they give me all those big long words to say something pretty simple. I could have just said to Gibbs, what is it? And he's like, it's panda poop. So that is actually the chemical makeup of panda poop, which the chemical makeup includes like what would be in the diet, what would be environmental, like that would be chemically broken down in
when
the
you get the scripts, do they give you the right to change any lines?
No, but we have a table read every week. So when we go to the table reads, if we're going to try to do anything, especially Michael Weatherly, who changes everything all the time, and we especially we're adding some funny little quip or whatever.
Do you ever read things that you say, this can't be?
Absolutely, because I think I'm the encyclopedia on Abby because I'm the one that's been playing her for so long. So I watch the reruns all the time and marathons.
So you might say this won't work.
Well, I would say something like well, she can't have an avocado. I'm just making this up in this episode because in season 3, episode 4, she said she was allergic to avocados. So
I got it.
I remember that stuff.
Because you remember, A students remember.
Yes, yes.
Does Paulie have a hidden talent we don't know about? We'll find out after this.
Oh.
Is it true you were a natural blonde? Did you go dark for the role?
I am blonde. I had my hair dyed black on my own when I went in and auditioned for the role, but then this is definitely the look that they wanted me to keep.
Are you allergic to dye?
I have it's an acquired dye allergy to black dye, so it's very, very
So how do they do it?
serious. Right now, we just spray it black every day. Because I ended up in the emergency room, and I really have been talking publicly about this because it's an allergy that is acquired. So if you dye your hair black over a long period of time, then all of a sudden it can end up being fatal. So I had never heard of it. So many people never heard of it. So I was like posting pictures from the ER, just saying, like, be careful, people. If you start noticing any kind of rash, because I didn't put it together what it was until then. I woke up and my head was twice the size.
All right, we have some social media questions. Bryson Knox on Facebook. Will Abby find love before the show ends?
Oh, that's up to the writers. Abby has a little love interest now. We never know. We're always the last to know everything. A lot of people really, really, really want her to get back together with McGee, her co-star.
George Lewis 07 tweets, do you still only take right turns when driving? When and why did you start doing that?
I'm a very scary cat driver, and I wish that everyone would be as scared as me and be more careful. So, yes, instead of making
left turns.
No, but here's my saying about it, and I love this because I made it up. 2 wrongs don't make a right, but 3 rights do make a left.
That's it. So you.
That is
but
true.
why are you afraid of making a left?
Because they're very dangerous. Most car accidents will happen in a left-hand turn.
You're weird. Okay, all right.
Not that weird.
John Walker on Facebook. How much has Abby rubbed off on you?
It's, I guess it's a relationship there. People that know me really well don't think I'm like Abby at all. People that don't know me think we're exactly alike. I actually like to keep, it's very important for me to keep those things very separate because playing Abby is my relief and my escape from everything like bad in life. So when I go there, it's not my clothes, it's not my lines. Abby doesn't have my problems that I have. Abby doesn't have the stress that I have in my own personal life. She's got, it's just that. So like I like to keep her over there. I would never want to, I never want the two to meet. But I've learned a lot from her, and she's my role model.
Oracle Fall, will we ever learn about Abby's first NCIS case and any chance of a Tony Abbey team up for a case?
Both of those things are possible. I love backstory on Abby because they write it. I can't wait to see what's coming next. I'd love to see where she lives. I would.
They haven't done that yet?
Yeah, we've done some of her. We had we went back, not to her house, no, but we went back to Abby's childhood, which they stole the story from my real childhood, and had her when I was little. When we lived in Georgia and I was little, my dad would work at the church during the day, and there was like a car lot next door had all the cars that had been really bad car accidents, and I used to break into the gate and go crawl through all the things and try to figure out how the car accidents happened. So it was like a total forensic stuff. So they actually used that. We had a young actress named Brighton Charbonneau come in and play young Abby, and that's exactly what she was doing, is crawling through the cars trying to reconstruct accidents.
And now for a game of If You Only Knew. We just throw things. Remember the first boy?
Games scare me because I'm a straight A student. I feel like I get everything right.
First boy you kissed?
Oh, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No. I guess the only kiss I remember is with my fiancé now.
Really?
That's the only memorable one.
Superpower you'd like to have?
Oh, that's easy. Invisible.
Me too.
I want to be invisible.
Oh, God, what fun.
When I was little, I tried to order out of a little joke. I didn't know it was a joke, but I thought it was real. So I saved my allowance, and I put it in an envelope and secretly didn't tell my parents, and I sent off my allowance money to order invisible powder, and it never came. I sat and waited for it every day.
Oh, would that be fun?
Oh, my gosh. It would be a lifesaver. You only appear when it's absolutely necessary and feel like it.
Time travel or space travel?
Oh, time travel, absolutely.
Me too. Pet peeve?
Oh, there's
you
a
have
lot.
many.
Well, I don't like bigotry.
Me too. That's my number one.
Yeah.
Hidden talent?
Oh, I can go like this. I was double jointed.
You can make your fingers go backwards?
Yes, I go backwards. Like that. I guess not hidden now.
What time period would you like to go back and visit?
It's a tough question. I'm going to say like yesterday. Because I don't want to go back in history where I couldn't vote and our people of color had no rights and then every stride that we've made for civil rights.
But you can show them what's coming.
Well, they get to go there with a stand-up.
And they would get depressed, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be depressing.
Your ideal day? Sitting
on my couch with my dogs and my fiance, watching TV, drinking a beer.
How many dogs you have?
Right now I have 2. I'm a big rescuer. I've been a rescuer for years and years and years.
Favorite subject in school?
Sociology.
Biggest fear?
Oh, God. Maybe I'm terrified of cars. I'm scared of a lot of stuff. The list is long. I mean, because I have some phobias that are
Like what?
Well, I'm terrified of magicians. I don't have an oven or a stove because I'm terrified of ovens, so I don't cook. And I don't go to movie theaters because I'm scared of movie theaters. So
where do you watch movies? At home?
At my house.
So you're scared of stoves. So if you go to a restaurant, you wouldn't sit ovens. You wouldn't sit near the kitchen.
No, I don't be around ovens at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you ever try to cure that?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
There are people who cure phobias.
Yeah, I've been through hypnotherapy that helped me with my biggest phobia, which I don't mention.
Which is, you don't want to mention it?
Not my biggest one. I never say it because I don't tell anybody what your biggest phobia is.
Why magicians?
Well, they're irrational fears, Larry, so I don't have to rationalize them.
Biggest difference between you and Abby?
Abby is modeled after one of my rescue dogs that's passed away, Cece. So when I first got the part, if you notice, I have very bad posture and I am very slouchy and couchy myself. But Abby is and once you know it, you can see it. The way she cocks her head, the way she looks at people, the way she moves from sort of point A to point B is all modeled after this little rescue dog called Cece. So she's very on point, like Cece was, and she was a very little brain damaged dog. And she's very particular about her things and her stuff. We're I'm not that particular. I don't care.
So you really have to act.
Yeah, well, it was fun though. I like to be able to.
Is there any similarity between you and Abby?
A lot of them that they took from my life, I'm Southern, I hug everybody, so Abby hugs everybody. Abby goes to church all the time. I'm total guy kid. So there's a lot of things that they put in, switched over, took from my life.
If you could play another part on NCIS, what would it be?
I would only want to play Abby.
Dream guest star.
I've been saying it for years. My pal Drew Carey, because he was a Marine. And I keep telling them and telling him, and he's funny because he says, I'm I've been tweeting about it. He's like, don't tweet about it. Go tell your producers. That would be a lot more.
What's a show you'd like to guest star on?
Oh, boy. Well, it's gone now, but one of my favorite other things I did in my life is I help out on America's Most Wanted. John Walsh is my hero.
America's what?
Most Wanted. Oh, John Walsh. Yeah. He's my hero.
He's doing a show on CNN now.
Yeah, he has a CNN one. But I just love that him catching bad guys. I really don't like bad guys. And
what was something people would be surprised to know about you?
I don't know. I tell a lot.
I think the phobias are a surprise.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty transparent, so I don't know if there's much surprise going on.
Well, the fingers get surprised. Thanks. You're a delight. I want to thank my guest, Pauley Perrette. Make sure to tune in to the world's #1 show, like I have to tell you. NCIS, every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on CBS. Remember, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things, and I'll see you next time.